honors of the bass clapper.
Hell yeah. Okay, bass. My name is Michael Byrnes, and I play bass in the band Mountjoy.
I've read that you joined Mountjoy via Craigslist. Is that right?
Yes, I did.
Tell us that story.
So I just moved to LA, and I was trying to meet any musicians in any capacity because I didn't know many.
Yeah.
So I was responding to Craigslist ads, which for the most part was not good. But Matt and Sam had like 3 songs, and they just needed a bass player. And so they posted on Craigslist. I responded to it. I could probably go. It's crazy to like go back in my email. I did that like a year ago. Go back in my email and see those first emails, and picture like, oh man, those people had no idea like how their lives were going to change. Yeah, and then I ended up, I think it was 3 songs, and they needed a bass. They were like, definitely want to hire a bass player for it, and then I was like, I play some drums, and I was like, I can play drums on it too, and then. My roommate at the time, I was like, he could record it and produce it. So we just like did it in my living room. At the time, I was like, I need to be hired by someone. Yeah. I'm done with, because I'd been in like 1 million bands. I'm like done with being in bands.
Right.
And then I was like, okay, this will be the last band that I'm in. Yeah. And it just kept going. And we needed a real drummer. So we had no Sotiris, and then my other roommate at the time had met Jackie, so we kind of just formed the band and then just went on tour.
Seems to be working out for you guys.
Yeah, we've been on tour since.
Yeah, you mentioned you lived in Chicago for 6 years. Were there any other bands you were in Chicago that you're proud of that still hold up?
I was in a band called Coaster.
Okay.
That I actually listened to the other week, and I was like, man, we had some good tunes for sure.
Yeah.
I briefly played with this band called Oshwa, who were kind of like cool in the Chicago scene, and they've disbanded now by this point. But I played in like a math rock band. I had like the tappy math rock band.
Oh yeah, that's a Chicago rite of passage too. Yeah. What was the name of that band?
Bathing Resorts.
Bathing Resorts.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
Which that was fun. That was just like so self-indulgent.
Yeah.
Like the most self-indulgent music ever.
For those watching, Michael and I were talking, there's a practice space across the street from the shop that is very popular here in Chicago, and it's, in all likelihood, we were probably there at the same time. We may have crossed paths.
Yeah. We probably got the same like skin infections from the bathroom.
Oh my God. Yeah, that place is still going.
Yeah.
I've kind of had trouble describing Mountjoy to people. Can you give me the elevator pitch for the band?
Oh shit. Elevator pitch. Mountjoy is songwriter-based rock folk band with like jam elements.
You mentioned the J word. I'm going to go there. I've seen you guys play Fire on the Mountain. I know you've been playing some other Dead covers and things.
Yeah.
Who brought that into the mix, and do you guys foresee a more jammy future for the band?
Yeah, so the Matt and Sam, especially Matt is like a huge Deadhead, the singer. I originally was like ignorant and was like a hater of like, I guess just the Dead.
Yeah.
Because I kind of like the floatiness aspect of it, I think I was like too judgmental of at first, because I just wanted, at the time I was only listening to bands where like the drummer was definitely the best musician in the band. And I didn't like think of their music in terms of songwriting at all, and did not think about like the influence they've had, and like pretty much if you're a live performer in any way, you owe the Grateful Dead so much, like what they've like laid out for the country.
For sure.
So Matt kind of brought it, and I remember being like, Grateful Dead, and then like getting over that really quickly and listening to them and being like, oh, this is really, there's a lot of really good songs here, and like the general like attitude of just like go out on stage and create and see what happens is something that we've done, and we kind of have like right now we have like our like moments in the set where we know we're going to do that, and then we also have like we'll play this song probably every night, most likely the same. Like my bass, I'll play the bass a little different for it, you know, but so we're kind of like a hybrid, I guess, of that. And I don't see it as a thing. I don't think anyone in the band is like, we need to be a jam band or we need to not be a jam band or something like that. We just know we know that it's super fun to do,
Right.
but also I think it helps with a live show. I think people genuinely like seeing musicians try stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
And for a long time, I like thought there'd be like massive consequences if you try something and maybe it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And then I think what we've learned is people kind of fucking dig that.
Yeah.
In a way, you know, there's a limit. You can't
For
just
sure.
like fuck up every song.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
once we all kind of came to that conclusion, like, hey, we can just try stuff up there, and like, at least with our fans, they're very accepting of us just trying stuff.
Yeah, I think the label jam band can be very polarizing, and it's not necessarily, you know.
People are some like snooty musicians are like hateful
Right.
towards it.
Right. It's like, guys, it's just improvisation by another name, you know.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, it is a power. I think, you know, I like the hybrid approach. I think that's powerful because you still get the songs that people are going to latch on to and, you know, want to hear, but I mean, an audience definitely wants to see something being created in front of them. I think
For
some
sure.
of my favorite bands take their songs and totally play them different every night. You know,
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a jam band, but they're just taking their, you know, the recorded music into a different place, and that's really powerful. So
Totally,
yeah.
totally. And you can have that approach with your own individual parts too. Like let's say the arrangement of a song isn't really going to change, or like the song form
Yeah.
isn't going to change live.
Yeah.
But at least with Mount Joy, we all have the freedom with each other for you know, almost entirely. There are certain things you're like, all right, that's a very specific part that has to be the same each
Right,
night. 'Cause
right.
They're all going to sing it or something.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, for the most part, you can condense that attitude towards like your bass part on a song. You know.
Not to harp on the covers and stuff, but what's the process for choosing what songs you do cover, and then do you take the approach of, we're going to try and recreate this verbatim, or do you want to make, you know, how do you make it your own?
Yeah, I think we just have a text thread of cover ideas, and maybe one out of every like 8 make the cut, maybe
Yeah.
one out of every 10.
Yeah.
And we are definitely not like we have to do it like the song.
Yeah.
Like we covered Dreams. That was probably the first time we've ever in like years and years where we just like played the song like the record and like exactly like the record. And
It's a perfect song, so it's hard to fuck with that.
Yeah, exactly. It's completely. What was wild is, you know, the song starts with the drum fill and then the bass comes in, and I think there's guitar on the top.
Yeah.
But the crowd recognized it from just the boom, 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 and I was like, damn, this song is something else, dude. They recognize like a very simple bass and drum part.
Right.
But otherwise, with covers, our big thing is finding a way to like sneak them in. So we'll do it even where nothing about what we're doing is that song, except maybe Matt sings it, the chorus of a cover in a certain way. Or we'll get more arranged with it and figure out a way to like launch into, you know, we do a few different songs. I don't want to give it away because you should come to a show. But yeah, so we're all about that. And I think it's like, you know, we're filling up about our sets. All in all, a Mount Joy show. We're the only band now playing them, like no openers. So we have like 2.5 hours about to entertain people.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think if you can diversify how you entertain them, that's super valuable. So we can do that from like experimenting, jamming. We can do that from playing our songs that people like, and then also just recognizing like amazing songs in the world and just like bringing them in a unique way.
Nice. I had a professor in college who once told me that to survive the rigors of touring in a band, you need to have other interests to keep you sane and to give you balance.
Yeah.
Do you have anything that gives you balance?
Yes, I and other people in the band as well. We all like exercise a good amount, and I think that is like life-saving. I struggle with like the adrenaline of touring a lot, and so like because it gives you a lot of adrenaline.
Right.
So you kind of also need a place to like facilitate or kind of to send the extra.
Yeah.
that I have.
Yeah.
So exercise is really good, and then I like video games too.
Nice.
So play a lot of Zelda.
Yeah. Tears of the Kingdom?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
One of the greatest games I've ever played in my life.
Do you like Breath of the Wild better?
I'm Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah?
Breath of the Wild, also incredible.
Yeah.
But dude, Tears of the Kingdom, like I'd be playing it and want to tell people about it.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah,
have you guys played this game? And they're all like, no.
There's
At least in the band.
3 of us here at the shop, Benny, Atticus, and I, and we all got the game at the same time and started playing together. So it's been fun to come in, you know, every
Yeah.
week. We're like, what did you find
Yeah.
this? Yeah, did you
Dude,
find that?
What a world. It's like,
Yeah.
how did that even come out of humans' brains? I don't even know.
Yeah.
I actually have the...
Let's see. Nice.
Yeah. I do
Very
that to
cool.
a lot of my basses.
That's
like,
great. I
Just
love
because,
that.
like, love it.
Yeah, you're gonna be the very first guest on Shop Talk to try out this new segment that I'm calling Snack Time. I didn't ask you ahead of time if you had any food allergies or dietary restrictions.
None yet. but
Okay,
let's see.
so today I went to my favorite bakery, which is right around the corner, called Spinning Jay. And
Okay.
they make my very favorite scone.
Okay.
This is a blueberry scone, so go ahead and reach in there and grab one. There's one for each of us.
Whoa.
And I'm gonna have you eat this scone on camera and
Okay.
let me know what you think.
It's not like, is there like a bunch of hot sauce in
No,
this or
no, no.
something?
This is like a legitimate, just a really good fucking blueberry scone.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
Oh yeah, they're doing a good job.
It's got the nice crust on the outside.
Gooey on the inside. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is actually very good.
They're not chintzy with the blueberries at all. There's a full bushel of blueberries in there. So
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah, very good.
nice. You know, everyone comes to Chicago and they want to eat beefs and pizza, but we make a good blueberry scone here too in this city.
Chicago is such good food.
Yeah.
One more bite.
I'm gonna keep eating. Do you use compressors, effects, anything special on stage?
A lot of effects.
Uh-huh.
I use this, I don't know how to say the name of the company, but it's just this compressor that I basically use as like a light limiter. M-I-U-R-A, I think. They make instruments as well.
Okay.
Like guitars and basses.
Yeah.
And then I think they don't have any effects, they just have this one compressor. I hope I'm spelling that right, sorry to the company. But I've had it for so long, all the labeling is worn off. So I'm
yeah.
like, not exactly, I'm like, I don't know what this one is.
Yeah.
So that, I always have a few delays. I kind of like, in Mount Joy at least, Sam, our guitarist, does a lot of ambient stuff. And Jackie does a lot of ambient stuff, but the way she does ambient stuff is just through playing.
Yeah.
She's not much of a, like, she's not using many effects. So it's kind of developed to where like Sam and I are kind of like soundscape stuff are Sam and I. So I'm like stacking delays. I always have like a wacky pedal. Like right now I have the Earthquaker Rainbow Machine.
Nice.
That kind of like, I either just make it feedback or you can make it go like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then like an overdrive pedal always, and I'm always like swapping them out. And a chorus, of course, OC2 octave. But we just wrapped a year of touring, and I'm gonna, after the show we're doing now, I'm gonna take all my gear back and completely rip it apart. I'm gonna get a different cab set up. I'm gonna completely redo the board.
Nice.
So hopefully I want to keep, like, each year have a board that's modular, you're changing things out, and then at the end of it you just blow it all up and try again. So
Yeah. What are some of your more current influences, maybe musically or otherwise?
actually I've been like obsessed with they're a Chicago band called Rap Boys. Their new record is called The Window, and it's like fucking so good, dude. So I can't stop listening to that.
Yeah.
Also been listening to Jill Scott has like a live record called Experience Jill Scott, I think. It's from like 2000. Her playing in DC. And it is absolutely insane. I haven't looked up who played bass on it. It's definitely the world, like 5-string active jazz bass.
Yeah.
Like whoever it is, definite gospel background. But the rhythm section on that show is like unreal. And the like arrangements that they do for that, the whole show flows so well.
Yeah.
So yeah, those have been the two. Like just
Nice.
walking through. I wake up each morning and like walk for a bit with some coffee, listening to either one of those. Very different records, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
Do you have a pre-show ritual?
Yeah. So I'll usually do like maybe 20 push-ups and like 100 jumping jacks with the drummer, Satiris, and That's about it. We kind of just we're not really listening to music before a show, but we are being goofy. We're definitely very humorous. And then we go to side stage, and when we're side stage, we do like a hands in the middle thing. But that's about it.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Before we move on to the rapid fire round, is there anything that you wanted to talk about that you wanted to bring to light?
So how does one become a well-known bass luthier? Like, what's that path like?
Fake it till you make it.
Right.
Build a couple of basses. Get your friend who's good at photography to take some pictures. Build a website and pretend like you know what you're doing until people eventually catch on.
But were you frustrated with basses? Were you kind of like, these basses, there's something missing out here in the world?
I think it's just, for me, it's just been an endless exploration for like the one, you know, I've had so many different basses throughout the years that I've loved, but I always kind of, at some point, either grow tired of them or find some sort of like fatal flaw with them. So it's just that like endless drive for exploration, which is sort of like a futile thing. Like there's no perfection, right? But there were a lot of things in the instruments that I had played in my musical career, and then also, you know, I worked at Lakeland for a while, and just wanted to like do things differently than just, again, not to disparage Fender and all of that, but there's so many P's and J's and just very familiar basses out there. Not a lot of attention was being given to some of the quirkier vintage stuff, so I kind of wanted to just like meld that. But as you mentioned, a lot of those vintage basses can be very temperamental. So it was like, how can we take sort of the essence of these quirky old instruments, but make them usable in today's modern age.
Right.
We also, I have to give credit to our clients, our fan base. Like we've taken a lot of feedback from our customers and incorporated that into our instruments. And so I think just having an ear open to what people want is valuable. I think not a lot of people in any industry, there's not enough listening going on sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
So a lot of times it's just like, here's what you should have, here, buy this.
Right, like kind of trying to trick people into it.
Yeah, as opposed to like, well, you know, let's have a collaboration kind of thing. And I think that's worked out really well for us too.
Yeah, I think it's changing, but boutique basses for so long were always like super active.
Yeah.
They were kind of like, and they're dope, no knocking it, but they're just like trying to be further away from like the vintage thing.
Right.
And I get that. That's a sound.
Right.
I think you were one of the first boutique bass companies that I saw that was kind of like bridging those worlds, I feel like.
You know, we've been doing more, like we've got the Metropolis there next to you, which is like the most like boutique, so to speak, that we get with active electronics and fancy woods and all that. But I have always had sort of a weird aversion to that as well. Yeah.
I don't know why. Maybe for me, I was always playing like out of old tube amps that like, if I had a 5-string active like jazz bass, it just didn't sound that good. You needed like and so maybe that's why I always gravitated away. And now I'm like way less judgmental. It's like whatever gets the song done, you know. But
my experience has always been that active electronics don't play as nicely with effects either. Like there's not as much headroom there, so things just end up getting really squashed and weird, especially with any sort of dirt and fuzz. There's just not enough like openness to them, because you're putting such like a crazy signal through.
Yeah, it doesn't let the effects sing or something.
Yeah. So, okay, rapid fire round.
All right.
What scares you the most?
I guess like another COVID, it would be scary, and having all shows go away.
Yikes.
Like, I mean, and other things, of course, but
yeah, let's not have that.
That was terrifying.
What excites you the most?
Like live music in general, like hopping into a situation where you don't know how it's going to go, but you're like jumping at it, you know, and you're just going to see.
Yeah.
I love that.
No net, yeah. Do you identify more with amphibious turtles or land-dwelling tortoises?
I think amphibious turtles.
Cool. Do you make decisions based on your horoscope?
No, not really.
Toilet paper roll over or under?
Over.
Nice, good man.
Yeah.
That's the right answer for all you out there. And lastly, do you have anything you'd like to tell upcoming generations of musicians, some inspiration, advice, wisdom?
Oh, I don't know. As far as career goes, I have no idea, because like music career, when I was asking people that question, and I still am asking people that question, but the music industry was completely different. And like 5 years from now, it's going to be completely different.
Yeah.
So I don't know about that, but I would say like, as long as you truly, truly, truly love music, certain things will fall in place. Not saying you're guaranteed success in any way, but if you really do listen to music and really get lost in it, and then when you play it, you really get lost in it. And I think a lot of people will need to be honest with themselves, like if they really do, and then you keep showing up, something will happen. Something will you'll find a place somewhere.